Achievements Made Easy. Lag Walkthroughs. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Bunky Cook here, back with part 2 of our achievement walkthrough through Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny. We're going to go ahead and start our first playthrough on easy, so go ahead into the special features, scroll all the way down to the difficulty option and choose easy. You can change the outfits here if you want to. None of them are as good as the panda suit from Onimusha 1, so I don't even bother. And then you can either press B or confirm with back and hit new game. I'm not going to be detailing scenes or showing them. I will be skipping all of them. Feel free to watch all the scenes if you want to.
In 1560.
But it probably will add a few hours, or at least an hour, I would say, to your playthrough if you watch all of the scenes, because there are quite a few throughout the game. There's going to be 4, I believe, to skip, and then you'll take control of Jubei here. You can run around with the left stick. You can left bumper to block. Right bumper locks on, and you can move around, strafing, all that fun stuff while locked onto an enemy. You can hit the left stick in to turn around quickly. I don't really use that mechanic very much. Left trigger, holding it, will allow you to press the right on the D-pad to change your melee weapon, and left on the D-pad to switch to a ranged weapon once we get other weapons. Let's see, holding right trigger allows you to charge your weapon, which we won't be doing very much throughout our playthrough, but I'm pointing it out anyways. Those are kind of the basics. You can press Y to do a magic attack, but we don't have that yet, and you can press X to do a normal attack. You can press and hold B to absorb souls, but we don't have the gauntlet, nor can we release souls yet. And that's kind of all there is to it, and this is what the game looks like. It just swaps across screens like this as you move through areas. It can get a little confusing, but generally speaking, if you hold the direction as you run across screens, the game remembers what way you were oriented and keeps you going that direction. So it's probably going to take a little bit of getting used to, but it is a 20-plus-year-old game at this point. So this is a magic mirror. You can save the game and enhance your weapons. Once we get enhanceable weapons, you have 20 save slots here, plus an autosave. I don't recommend relying on the autosave. It's not always the last area you went in, so sometimes if you reload an autosave before a boss, it might load you in a previous room instead of the room right before the boss. So generally speaking, rely on the 20 save slots you have here. You can see in the upper left that yellow bar, the big yellow bar, is our health. The kind of muted yellow bar below it is our magic. This weapon doesn't have any magic, which is why that bar is muted. The orbs over there, I can't remember how to bring up our HUD. There we go. The orbs, or 5 circles there, are for our Oni meter, and then that empty black block below is where our XP will show up. With that said, let's go back to the left and go down. You're going to get another cutscene and have your first combat. I highly recommend, um, if you want to fight the enemies here, feel free. But there isn't a good way to heal yourself right now. So I don't recommend messing around with the combat too much here. I'd wait until you get further on in the game. So I'm just going to run past these guys because there's no point in fighting them. You don't get a reward for doing it. All that can happen is you can take damage. So we're going to run past, go through this door here. Continue forward and take a right and open the chest to the left of the bridge. You'll get your first map, the Yagyu Village map, which I actually already opened a map screen on accident when we were messing around with the controls. If you need to, as you can see, that guy's about to attack me. We're going to try to hold block. I'm going to run past everything here again. We don't have any point in fighting things here as we can't get any rewards for doing so. So we'll go past them. We're going to wait to kind of experience the combat until we get to a spot where we can at least heal ourselves. Run to the left here. You're going to have a little scene pop in where the rocks will pop up. But before we go that direction, you can either run to the left around the bamboo here, or whatever that may be, and grab the herbs, or herb from the chest, or you can just slash them all. Why not? Now go to the right side and you'll see a little frog hopping around. Press A on him to pick him or her up, I suppose. I do not know how to tell a frog's gender. Run back to the screen and run towards the rocks to automatically hop across them, and then hold that direction and you'll run inside of the cave. Again, nothing to do in here except run all the way through. You'll see a red statue on the right. That's an XP statue. You get like a varying amount. Some of them give you like 200 XP, some give you 3, 4, etc. And if you can kill a bunch of enemies and then try to absorb all of the orbs at once, you get a massive XP bonus. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do. Go through the door at the end. You're going to get a scene here, and then you will get the charity orb and your first document, which is the play instructions, which is document number 1 of 19. And you can go ahead and read through the play instructions to get a feel for things. I've already covered some of this stuff. You can hold B to absorb souls. Red souls are XP, blue are for magic, yellow are for health, and the big purple ones are to turn into an Onimusha. You can enhance your magical weapons or armor, excuse me, at the magic mirrors that I already showed you. You can press Y to use a magic attack, which we can use once we get a magic weapon. You can hold LT and RT. It says simultaneously, but every time I tried to do it simultaneously, one of the either left trigger or right trigger would override what we were doing. So I recommend pressing the left trigger slightly before right trigger to trigger Onimusha. Or it's either right trigger before left trigger or one or the other. Once we do it, I'll remember for sure. But I could never get it to work when I thought I was pressing them at the same time. I wound up having to offset them. You can hold RT to charge your weapon once you have a magic weapon. We're not going to be doing this much. Learning new skills, we're not going to learn a whole lot of skills. It says new skills, but generally speaking, there's only 2 skills we're going to learn, and one of the tech books we get for that is supposed to be a new skill is just adding to the duration of your charge. So it's not really all that important. We won't be messing around with it too much. You can swap your melee weapons and ranged weapons while holding left trigger. You can turn around. You can do critical attacks, which we'll focus on once we start combat. And again, you can hold RB with a ranged weapon to lock on and then press X to fire. If you're close, some of the enemies or some of the characters have like a melee attack with a gun out or a bow out, so you may do a ranged melee kind of attack. It's a little weird. It's one of the weird things about our gun-toting friend Magoichi. But with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and finish that. This is the item pack if you got it. I'm going to do my best not to upgrade based on the 10 XP we have from this, just so I'm more in line with what those of you who don't have the item pack will be seeing. And again, I'll be trying not to use the healing items and stuff like that we get. But feel free to, if you want to, if you are following along exactly with me and you get the item pack. Go for, or backward, excuse me, to this chest to get an herb, and we're going to continue back the way we came. Now, in this room, we're going to get our first taste of combat, and we're going to go for our first critical. So once an enemy shows up, we're just going to wait, and when he attacks, I'm going to hit the attack button, and I'm going to critical him. That should pop our first achievement. It did not. Why not? I already got it, apparently. That's interesting. They're not popping on screen, so I apologize for that. So we got used a critical to kill a demon, got in a flash achievement, and we got the light souls, absorbed demon souls for the first time achievement. I apologize for that. They're not popping on screen. We're going to work our way through this area, trying to crit them. And you want to try to absorb as many enemies' souls at once as you can, because of the XP bonus. You can also, if I can time this right, crit chain, as you saw there. I was able to crit the one enemy, I pressed the attack button again, and then I was able to crit the other enemy. These kind of techniques are vital for getting through the game, especially on hard. So spend your easy playthrough practicing. You know, go save, run into these areas and practice your crits. These early enemies are very easy. See, that time I wasn't able to do the crit chain. You can also do a block critical, which you'll see a big ring appear like there if you do it right. And then you should be able to go into a crit, but I've always found the timing to be a little weird. That's the other crit option, is the block critical, and then the one I typically do is the dodge critical because it only requires one button. Excuse me, button press, where the dodge or block critical you have to block and then time your attack. However, if you do block the attack, you don't take damage, so there's a little more safety in trying to do the block critical. Um, Regardless, once you have everything cleared up, I'm not going to be going into too much detail about the enemies in each area. The reason being, it can vary depending on what difficulty you are on and also what character story you're in. Different areas are safe or have different enemies depending on what of your 4 other playable characters you are befriending. So I'm generally going to be like, okay, you're going to go in here, there's going to be some lizard swordsmen or something like that. And that'll give you a general idea of what you're going to be running into. But I'm not going to be too detailed with what you're running into. Continue forward, back out of the cave. We're going to hop back across the stones here and go to the left there. I mean, to the right when the camera changes. Grab the frog if you didn't. Walk up to the shrine here and press A to get your first sword, the Burrito. You can skip this scene as well. This will unlock your 3rd achievement, Lightning Strikes. There it is, popping on screen. That gets us to 45 out of 1,000 G total. You can skip all of these scenes. I think there's 3 or 4 here, and you're going to end up in Imasho Town. Once you get control, the door to the right here leads to the inn or the tavern. I call it the inn in my walkthrough. I look back now, it probably should be called a tavern. So if you hear me call it either of them, I mean this door. We're going to go inside here and walk forward until the screen changes. On the left is a door that brings you to the general store, but it doesn't unlock until we defeat our first boss and come back. The stairs on the right can be gotten to by going through here, and that'll bring you upstairs. We don't need to do that right now. And we're going to run straight forward into this door back here, which leads to a magic mirror. Go ahead and save if you want to. You can overwrite your saves, but I also like to have many saves to go back to in case I screw something up. So I tend to use many save slots. Once you use the magic mirror for saving, go ahead and enhance. So again, I'm going to try not to use the 10 bars of XP that the item pack gave me for those of you that are following my walkthrough without having the deluxe edition. So I'm going to put 2 full bars of XP up there into the Burrito. So what you do is just press A on whatever you want to level up. So just by pressing A, I'll put some XP in and I will pop the Pour Your Soul Out achievement, which is number 4 of 56, which doesn't seem to have popped either, but you can see I do have 4 of 56. And that gets us to 60G. Again, I'm going to try not to put more than the XP I got. That's a little bit more, but not much. We want to focus on getting our Burrito up to level 2 first and foremost. That's the first thing we're going to do. Then we'll maybe focus on some of the armor and stuff like that, but having the firepower is far more important than having the additional damage percent decrease. You're probably not going to be able to get the Burrito up to level 3 for a while. In fact, we don't do that until our last visit to Imasho Town. So, generally speaking, try to get everything up to level 2 before you focus on anything to level 3. But I'm going to back out now, and we're going to head to the left and exit the inn. Turn to your right towards the screen here, and you're just going to keep running this direction up the stairs to an open market. and then continue through the open market to another doorway over here where there's a burned out campfire, and this is the stable screen. I call it anyways. Go talk to this guy here. He'll give you the ancient documents. Continue a little bit further past him, and in this corner is a chest. It can be hard to see, but grab it to get the Tengu mask. We're going to return all the way to where the inn was. And right past it is a general store. We can go inside. So right over here is a general store. Go inside. You do start with 1,000 gold on your first 2 runs anyways. Once you get to ultimate mode, I think you start with 10,000. So go ahead and buy the items I tell you to buy here. We're going to buy the egg, the grilled fish, the salt, the vodka, history book volume 5, wonder flower, and artwork number 16. There are reports of people saying that items you don't buy when the inventory will reset after you do specific things in the story. And people have said that items disappear. I haven't had that happen, so I don't know if that was just a glitch that was fixed or whatnot, but as long as you follow along with me and buy the things I tell you to, you shouldn't have any problems. I also want to point out that the artwork doesn't mean anything. It is not related to any achievements. As we go through the game, I do tend to point out the artworks if you want to grab them, but you don't need to. It's just the regular, like, books and play documents like we've already gotten, and then the maps have a separate achievement as well. But once you have the items all purchased, we're going to back out and head back to the street, or I'm going to talk to the guy again because I'm impatient and I spam buttons. Turn to the left this time, walk across the bridge, and turn right here under the flagpole to get the Onimusha Town map, which is map 2 of 10, and head left into the blacksmith. We're going to head kind of down here and follow this path, destroying all of the wood crates along the way. When you get to the next corner here, there is a chest to open and get the cloth, and then destroy these final 2 barrels. You'll see a suspended platform. We have a little timed puzzle. Well, it's not really a puzzle. It's just a timed lever. We're going to hit the lever. We have to run to that platform. Run all the way back to the entrance and go past it into this little room, and press A to pull the handle. You have like 2 extra seconds here, so you don't have to be super fast, but generally speaking, don't get stuck on anything and you'll be fine. Once the platform lifts you up, walk to the left and you can grab the bow out of the chest here. Now we're going to exit the building and we're going to head up toward the mine. So once you get outside, we're going to head down and to the left and walk this way up some stairs. Immediately after the scene transition, walk to the left and start spamming A. Somewhere along this way, you're going to pick up the unique mushrooms. And this is kind of the first easy place to practice your crits. That's the same enemies that we had in that little tunnel, but a little more room to fight. So feel free. So I got a crit chain there. And there's a purple orb. If you do happen to find those, get the purple orbs. Make sure you're trying to fill your meter. Well, I tried. Wasn't quite able to crit that, or chain that one. I'm gonna grab the telescope out of the chest here, and I'm gonna hopefully get more than one enemy attacking me, so I can try to chain the crits and get more orbs. There we go, there's a third. There's a fourth. Oh, man. That's what you want to do right there. Then you absorb all of them and you can see the plus 120 on the XP bar there. Again, I don't recommend. Well, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I don't recommend standing around and killing every enemy uh, in most screens. But if there's a spot you feel comfortable grinding, which I do on this spot, heck, when I was a kid, I think I used to grind all of my weapons up to like the max here, just because I was dumb and thought I had infinite time. But generally speaking, just run through, kill whatever you have to. You don't have to wait around for all the stragglers to pop in. Uh, Whenever you're ready, go ahead up the stairs here, run forward to get a scene where the guy says we need a permit, and then you're going to turn around and go back down. And again, we're going to kill some more of these guys as we go through. I'm going to try to gather them all together. As you can see, I'm far from perfect. But once you can get one crit in on a group of enemies, as you saw there, I was able to get back all of the health I lost. Now on hard, that's a different story. But on easy, you can generally recover all the health you lose from getting a crit combo like that. You can also stab guys on the ground if you want to. It doesn't give you as much souls, but it is generally an instant kill. Some of the harder enemies later on don't die with one stab. They might on easy, but on hard they definitely don't. So we're going to head back down into town and run into the inn or the tavern. You'll see a guy sitting in the right corner there, so go ahead and walk towards him for a scene. That'll introduce you to Magoichi, who uses his gun, and Ekei, who is bald. He uses a spear, or some variation of it, anyways. I think he has a halberd at some point. Um, and you'll get the giving items document, which is document number 2 of 19. You can give gifts to your companions. All you're going to do is walk up to them. You'll see the little press start, or whatever it's called now, and it allows you to give an item. If you press it, it brings you to the gifts menu, and you can give your companion an item. Don't do this unless I tell you to. It can affect your friendship levels, and different things may happen for you if you don't follow along exactly with what I do. This is very important because it can change the way your game goes. There are specific scenes where if Ekei is more your friend than Magoichi is, the gameplay will be different, which means for this walkthrough, you have to follow along with what I do exactly. Because even giving a different gift could affect the friendship levels enough where your gameplay changes. So follow along with me exactly. But walk to the right, then to the left, and talk to this guy standing in front of the door to get some gold. That'll buy us a mountain permit. I'm going to go ahead and just enhance my weapon a little more. I don't think I have enough to go all the way. I do not, but we're going to get to there. And then we're going to run back and go outside of the inn. Head back towards the blacksmith. There's going to be 2 guys standing in front of it. Talk to the guy wearing a shirt. Just talk to him 2 or 3 times. He should mention Kotaro. Kotaro. I think it's Kotaro. I want to say Kotaro, but I think it's Kotaro. Go back into the inn, and we're going to slip through the tables here and go up the stairs, and when you walk forward, you're going to get a scene with Kotaro.
Get up, boy.
So go ahead and skip that. We're going to do a little bit of gift manipulation to get some achievements here. So go into the inn, go back to the magic mirror, and make a save. So one of the problems with this game is that some of the things we need are random gifts we get back from our companions for giving gifts, which means we may have to save, give gifts, and reload until we get the specific item we want. Unfortunately, that can take a very long time. So that's where some of the RNG involves. If you get them on the second or third gifts, then you're getting through very quickly. But I have had times where it took me over 30 attempts to get the item I needed. So again, I've played through the game probably like 20 times by now, if not more than that. It happens. Sometimes the RNG favors you, sometimes it doesn't. Um, we also have to do that to get bones back for a door we need to unlock at the end of the game, and we have to do it for magic jewels from each of our companion characters, and we haven't met the girl Oyu yet. So we'll be doing that later. But for now, we are going to be giving Kotaro, I'm going to probably mispronounce that because I was telling myself it's Kotaro, whatever. I'm sorry, saying the wrong name. I'm an ignorant American. We're going to go upstairs here. Go walk over to Kotaro. I think we could have done these with anyone, but just to be safe, I have it written down as doing this with Kotaro. Give him the grilled fish first. That'll pop an achievement, a token of friendship, number 5 of 56, and that should get you to 75 out of 1,000. There it is. You'll get gifts in return. It doesn't really matter what they give you. In this case, we're going to be reloading the save anyways, so go ahead and give him salt now. This will pop the Serious Synergy achievement for 15G, getting you to 90. That's really weird. Some of these are popping and some of them aren't. I apologize for that. I love the addictive popping noise. Anyways, we're going to give him the unique mushrooms next. That will get us another achievement, number 7 of 56 to 105.
Mom, I have so much to tell you.
And just so you can see that I am getting them, since they're not popping on screen, I'll pop the guide open so you can see that we're up to 7 for 105, and then we're going to give him a Wonder Flower. And that will give you an 8th achievement, Forgive and Forget, getting you to 120.
I don't remember what happened.
If you are going through the game naturally, these items can be useful, but since we're going to be you're going to follow exactly what I tell you, you're not going to make mistakes, so you won't need to use them. So we're going to get the achievements out of the way. Again, let's double check. 8 achievements, 120G. With that done, press the back button to pause, go to quit game, yes, and we're going to load our most recent save. Generally speaking, it goes to your most recent save. As you see here, the autosave is actually after where we were. But we're just going to reload the save here. I think it would be faster to reload the autosave, but I don't like to mess with the autosave too much in case it's something I hadn't planned for. So I'm going to load the regular save, and now we're going to try to get the bones. And this is where you may have to reload a bunch. So first, we're going to do the longest run first. We're going to go all the way up the stairs, run over to Kotaro, or Kotaro, and we're going to give him the cloth. If you get the bone, that's great. You can go back down and save, and then you can start on the next person. If you don't get the bone, you have to quit out and reload until you get the bone. I am not going to keep this in because who knows how long this is going to take. It could be a waste of time. I will just cut this out until we come back and have the bone. Okay, folks, so it took me about 4 tries to get the bone. I was going to come back in and show you, but muscle memory. They do not show up in gifts. They show up in the items tab. There you go. That's what it looks like. I was able to use an autosave to cut down some of the time running up the stairs. That was the first time that's ever happened before. All the other times I've done this, it didn't trigger an autosave up top. So if you do have the autosave, it will save you a little time, but I can't guarantee that it happens for you. As I said, that's the first time the autosave has ever triggered in this room up here, so I didn't have it written down in the guide. If you do have an autosave, you can reload from the autosave instead of your save downstairs, and it will save you probably 5 to 10 seconds each run. But once you do get the bone, excuse me, run back down. We're going to run over to the magic mirror and we're going to save. And now we have to do the same thing with Magoichi and Ekei. So we're going to run over to Magoichi here and we're going to give him the vodka. And again, we're going to do this until we get the fossilized bone.
I like trying new spirits.
And if we don't, we're going to quit out and reload until we do. So that one went really well for me. It only took 2 attempts for me to get that bone. So when we got that, we're going to run back to the magic mirror and we're going to overwrite the save. And then we're going to do the same thing with Ekei. And we're going to give him that frog we found at the beginning of the game until we get the bone.
Oh, it's so cute.
And if we don't, just like before, we're going to quit out and reload until we do. And there we go. That one took me 12 tries. That was a little bit meaner. So there we go. That's the 3 bones that we need for the door at the end of the game. And with those done, walk over to Magoichi. We're going to give him 2 items here to improve his friendship. If you do happen to get a power jewel or a magic jewel, we need to make note of it. So when we grind those out later by giving gifts, we know that we already got that one from him. So just make a note of that if that does pop up. You don't need to save here because it doesn't matter what you get. Oh, I apologize. We need to go out to the magic mirror here and go behind it. I didn't introduce you to this in this run. There is a magic well here, so if you run out of magic, you can come back to this spot and absorb magic orbs. And there is a chest with the Kiseru in it that we need to grab. And with that done, now we can run over to Magoichi and give him the Kiseru and the ancient documents. Again, I'm probably butchering the name, but give them both. It doesn't matter what you get unless you get a jewel. Then you can just mark that down that you got it from him because we won't need to get it later. So give him that and then the ancient documents. And again, if you do manage to get a power jewel or a magic jewel, make a note of it and feel free to use it. We did not. Okay. We're going to head back into here and save real quick. Those gifts give us just enough to make Magoichi our friend, which will give him get him on the path here. So we're going to go up and we need to get enough gold to buy everything else in the shop. So if you want to run over to the shop and make sure that you have that you know how much you need. So we need what? 1,300. So we got to grind out 1,000 gold. So what we're going to do is we're going to run up the path just outside the mine and we're going to work on critting and practice our timing for that on these enemies until we have 1,300 gold. So run around, let them gang up on you so you can try to kill multiples at the same time. Oops. Again, use this time to practice your timing. We just made a save, so if you do wind up taking a lot of damage and dying, you can reload. You can run down and save whenever you want as you're grinding. There you see we got a crit chain going. And once you feel like nothing else is going to show up, just run down and run back in. And you're just going to keep doing this until you get to, what, 1300. So it's probably going to take like 3, 4, 5 runs. There we go, we got 1300. Oh, purple orb. Make sure you grab those purple orbs if you see one. And I'm just going to finish off the enemies here. Get whatever extra root or orbs I can. And then we'll head back into town, and we're going to go and buy everything from the general store. So the conch shell, the compass, the plant encyclopedia, and the blue parrot. And now we're going to go all the way back up into the mine. You don't have to kill too many of the enemies here since we've just been grinding. If you want to, feel free. And then we're going to head up into the mine. As you approach, a scene's going to play. We'll skip that unless you want to watch it. As you can see, there's a treasure chest to the left over here. We're not going to grab it. This item in it isn't useful for us. If you see a chest and I don't tell you to open it, don't bother with it. There's one chest that you might open regardless because it's right next to a door and it's easy to open. But generally speaking, if I don't tell you to go open a chest, we're not doing it on that run. I'll be sure to let you know what we need to grab. Some of these like lighter containers here can be blocking gold when we come back in, so if you want to, feel free to run around and destroy them. That way you'll see if there's any gold on the ground, as it does litter the floors through the mine. It's actually a pretty easy way to grind gold as well later on. Go ahead and get up into the magic mirror. If you can, get your Burrito up to level 2, which we can. And then I'm going to start focusing on the armor. But again, I'm going to try not to go below the 10 bar too much so that I'm sticking along with those of you who don't have the item pack. If you have more, start working on your armor, greaves, and gauntlets. We're going to go left and go down here. And there's going to be a chest with a Demon Wall scroll, which is document number 3 of 19. And then we're going to have our first puzzle chest. There are two types of puzzle chests. The first ones are like sliding blocks, like this one, where the entire row or column moves depending on what arrow you have selected. And there's a type that pops up later on where there's only like 9 squares in the middle, and uh, they just kind of swap places in the direction that you're pointing. So I'll cover that one when we get to it. But for these ones, what I generally have is just kind of 2, 3, 4, 5 steps indicating what arrow you need to press. So we need to press the bottom arrow on the right side, and then we need to press the left arrow on the bottom. And that's going to give us the Burrito's secret, which is very important on our first 2 runs. The Burrito's secret allows you to go uh, down, up, X. You have to do it rather quickly. And then if you press X right at the end, you can add a 4th hit to it. You're generally going to want to be doing this a lot on hard, and there are enemies on easy that it'll be important to use as well. So get comfortable doing this combo, specifically with the Burrito, although we will be unlocking it for every weapon as we go through. As the Burrito combo can be very important for getting through the game on any difficulty, really. Now, return back to the previous screen. You can go past the magic mirror and to the right, and we're going to head up this path. There is a chest past Ekei here. It's going to be on the left, kind of hidden there. This is the gold mine map, which is map 3 out of 10. And we're going to continue through a few more screens. Again, there can be gold hidden underneath the breakable containers, so feel free to stop and break them. At the very least, they can be blocking you from seeing the gold, so I recommend breaking them. Or just saying, screw it. Okay, finally. There we go. In this next screen, we're going to be introduced to the Lizard Swordsman. These are also very easy to crit. They do a yell and then a forward stab, which is very easy to crit. Everything else is kind of hit or miss for critting, but that scream and then stab is very easy to crit. There's the one on the left there. Bam. And we're going to absorb all 4 of them at once, get a big bonus, grab all the gold, and exit to the right side here. And move on to the next screen. There's going to be a fork here, and some more lizard swordsmen if you want to mess around with them. But we are going to go towards the screen at the fork. Continue through to the next screen. You're going to have a couple lizard swordsmen to kill, and then you're going to have a scene where Magoichi helps you kill some more of them. But I love the lizard swordsman enemies for their stab. It is... Outside of the rolling lizards, it is the easiest attack in the game to crit. So once you get 4 of them killed, more will pop in, and then Magoichi will help you. I don't recommend going for the crits with Magoichi in here, because he'll shoot them while you're waiting for them to attack. So just run around and kill all of them. Try not to use any magic attacks. You want to save those for bosses. You can also, if you have a room where a partner is fighting with you, if you can keep holding the orb button until your partner kills enemies, and they will count as the same absorption, getting you more XP. You can take advantage of that in a few spots. It's not really that big of a deal, but I find it pretty funny. Go ahead and skip the conversation there. Grab all of the gold once the scene is over, and head the way we were down the longer path here into this opening. You're going to find some gold on the floor, potentially. Always look around for gold, because it is random. Every room will have... It's randomly generated every time you pop into the mine. So gold is going to be everywhere. It's not going to be in the same spots it is for me. The chest on the right has the 5 Oni orbs document, and then interact with the altar to get the Hyujin Yari spear. I find this to be the worst weapon in the game. There are very rare cases where I find it to be a useful weapon. This is going to unlock your 9th achievement, Piercing Cold, getting you to 135 out of 1000 G. And the achievement is not popping, but there I'll show you that we got it. We're going to keep the Hyujin Yari equipped just for a few screens here. If you want to fight the enemies on the way, feel free. Just know that the crit timing for some of the other weapons is different. Or at the very least, if it's not different, it feels like it's different. I should point that out, because it does feel different to me. Well, that was rude. Back at the fork, we're going to continue in the opposite direction this time, all the way through. You're going to get a scene in here.
Magoichi, you fool!
Grab any gold, but walk towards the screen, and you're going to see a seal here. The seals relate to the color of whatever weapon you're using. So right now we have the Hyujin Yari out, and this is a Hyujin Yari seal. It is more of a muted blue as opposed to the Burrito as a lighter blue. So go ahead and hit it with the Hyujin Yari, and then we're going to switch back to the Burrito. That allows us to go through. You can hold the left trigger and hit right on the D-pad, or left on the D-pad. Or excuse me, hit right on the D-pad to swap to the Burrito and bring it back out. You can use the Hyujin Yari if you find it more comforting for you, but generally speaking, I'm going to be writing this walkthrough and playing with the Burrito, so most of my instructions are going to relate to the idea of you using that weapon, so keep that in mind. In the next screen, you should find a chest with medicine in it, and keep an eye out for gold on the ground. We're going to grab the gold and then interact with the magic mirror. I highly recommend making sure your Burrito is level 2 here. So run around and grind if you have to in the other rooms, whatever you want to do. This is going to be our first boss. Shouldn't be too difficult. If you really, really want to, you can go grind out 5 purple orbs. But the problem with that is it's going to take a while. And you shouldn't really need to do that. Although this first fight can be difficult. So, I'm not going to go and grind out the purple orbs. If you have them, you can use RT and LT to trigger Onimusha form and either spam X to attack him, or you can spam Y that does a long-range attack. I don't actually do that until much later in the game. So, that achievement won't be popping for me here, and we don't have enough orbs right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work the rest of my XP into the armor. Then we're going to save. We'll save in a new slot. And again, I don't have enough orbs to become an Onimusha, so we're just going to go in with what we got here. Go ahead and interact with the hole to the left of the door to place the charity orb. That will open the boss fight up. And you're going to be fighting a guy named Gingham Fats. He has 2 forms. There's a small one where every attack is blockable, and you want to do the majority of your damage. And he has a large one where you're going to be running away a lot. In the small form, you're going to run up, swing a few times, block, and repeat the process. I don't recommend using the Burrito combo too much here because it locks you into 3 or 4 swings. And on some difficulties, it doesn't stagger Gingham Fats, and it leaves you wide open to attack. Feel free to try it, the down-up attack combo, and use the D-pad for that. Down-up X. because using the analog stick requires you to be aiming at the enemy, which makes it a lot harder to pull off in combat. Um, but when he is bigger, the only thing you can do is kind of run. He jumps straight up in the air and will land, causing rocks to fall around the arena. He'll do a jump towards where he last targeted your location. So the best thing you can do is just be running around in a circle. And once he does land, I recommend trying to do a running attack toward him to get one hit and then run off again. As long as you're continuously running away from him, you should be fine. Um, Unfortunately, with the boulders, I didn't find a good way to determine where they're going to be falling. So, generally speaking, that's what you're going to do. You're going to run in, attack him when he's small. When he grows big, run away. Right away, we're going to use our Burrito magic on him, though, as well. So, run up to him, press Y. If you see any orbs come off of him, absorb them. Then we'll spam the Burrito magic again. If you get lucky, you'll get a blue orb. It didn't look like we did. So now we just have to kind of play it by ear here. As you can see, the Burrito combo did not stagger him. We did get a blue magic orb, so I'm going to use magic again. And then we got a big blue magic orb, so I'm going to use it again. We got a purple orb. We're probably not going to be able to use the purple orb. But now he's big, so we're just going to do the hit and run tactics. And we can't see anything because of the game's wonderful foresight. There we go. Just run away. Try to keep him on screen if you can. Again, this game is old. It had a pretty bad camera system. I got greedy there. It happens. If you have to heal, don't be afraid to. The camera caught me there because I was running the opposite direction and the camera shifted. He's small again, so we're gonna go to town. And there we go. Kingdom Fats was defeated. That's all you really have to do there. If you do have to heal, feel free to. We have plenty of heals, especially if you got the item pack. I haven't used any of the heals we've gotten so far. And press B once he disappears to get a bunch of health, magic, all that fun stuff, and then grab all of the gold he leaves on the ground. So that popped the Brains Over Brawn achievement, number 10, getting us to 150. And we're going to exit to the back left there. Run through this room, grab any gold you see on the ground. You can ignore the wheel. And go past the guy on the ground into this back room, grabbing any gold you see. And in this back room, you're going to grab whatever gold is on the ground. There's a bunch of it, which is why we detoured back here. Don't worry about the chests for now. We'll come back to them. But for now, grab all of the gold. We got 1,000 just from entering that room. Return to the previous room and talk to the guy to have a scene, and you're going to get a red ring and end up upstairs in the inn. Go downstairs, and you can see a guy standing near the door that leads out back. We're going to talk to him. And that is, he's selling a map for Niter, which is, it's probably not pronounced that way, but we just have to pay 50 gold for it, and we're going to do that. And then the door to the shop to the left here is now open, so we're going to go over there and buy a bunch of whatever we can. You shouldn't more than likely have enough gold to buy everything unless you grinded a lot. I'm at 3,400, so We're going to buy everything we can except for the other characters' armors. At a minimum, we want to buy the lemon, the hair ornament, the book of short stories, the history book volume 10, the western greaves, the red parrot, the love potion, and the artwork. If you can't get the other 3 items, don't worry, they will still be here when the inventory resets. But Magoichi's armor and the general items are the important things to buy right now. Exit from this and walk slightly to the right. You're going to see 4 people standing over here. Talk to this guy on the left. He's going to give us some chalk. And he wants a cantaloupe, so we have to trade this to many different people. Head back into the inn through the door to the right. Walk over to Ekei and give him the chalk. And he's going to give you a book, which is, I don't know how to pronounce it, The Tale of the Ekei? Maybe?
Why are you giving me this?
We're then going to go over to Magoichi. We're going to give Magoichi that book, The Tale of the Ekei. And Magoichi's going to give us an emblem. And then we're going to go upstairs to Kotaro and give him the emblem. And he's going to give us a cantaloupe.
Wow! I finally get to see one of these.
Now we're going to go downstairs, go back to that door that leads to the general store and go through, and go back to the guy that gave you the chalk. Talk to him. You'll give him the cantaloupe, and he'll promise to repay the favor. We'll talk to him again when we come back after the next boss that we fight. We're going to leave the shop to the street and head to the right. We need to go back all the way to the stable, actually. And there's a guy sitting on a bench back here. You're going to talk to him 3 times. And he's going to give you a magic jewel. That's magic jewel 1 out of 9. Go into your inventory and use it. You might have gotten one from Magoichi already, but you shouldn't have any others. So, as you can see, our magic bar there went up 1 slot. And now we're going to head back up to the mine. So we are going to have new enemies along the way here. And this is where some of the crits become a lot tougher. And I generally try not to worry about the crits. I call these guys ninjas with claws because in the first game that's what they were. They just kind of gave them these bladed weapons instead of the claws. The only where I found it the easiest attack to crit is that forward stab that they just did, or that sliding attack. If you do manage to crit these guys, you give a bunch of XP. But again, it's not an easy thing. I generally do not try to crit these enemies because they are a pain in the butt. I'm just going to kill that one and go up the ladder, or stairs, sorry. Up here, we're going to walk into the mine. There's going to be a guy walking around in front of the cave. I think he was the guy that wouldn't let us in. Talk to him twice, and he's going to give you the dice. You can also grind gold here. Again, the gold spawns in. We're going to check into this left room just to see if any has popped in. There's some gold there. Might as well grab it. There's not anything else down in this room, but every room has a potential for gold to spawn in now. So we're going to go and see if we can enhance our armor. Still probably have 2 or 3 XP bars worth before we can get our armor all the way up. Again, if you do have the extra XP, feel free to add it into whatever you want. Walk past all the guys in this room. They don't give us anything, but do be on the lookout for gold on the ground. In the next room, again, you're going to find potential for gold on the ground, although I don't have any. And you're going to have to save Kotaro in this next room. I do not like these enemies. However, I found that the burrito combo is really effective on them, so... just slash at everything. Some more of the ninjas are going to pop up out of the ground. And then you'll get a scene once everything is dead. Continue to the right here. More of those orb swordsmen, are what I call them, are going to spawn in here. And like I was saying, the burrito combo kills them in 4... Oh, it does not. These are the upgraded ones, sorry. The red orbed ones die in 1 combo from the level 2 burrito. Sorry about that. I was thinking of the weaker one. So now we need to go back to where we got the huge Inyari. So take the toward the screen path to get into this room. If you can use smaller enemies to crit into the bigger one, that is a very useful tactic. You can also push up and into them, and if you hit them twice, you can knock them on the ground. But generally speaking, I found the burrito combo to be the most effective way to handle them. Continue into this room, walk to the right, and interact with this post here to get your first niter. There are 2 more we have to get. You can check the map to figure out where they're at, too, if you want to. Check for any gold on the ground, but we don't have anything else to do here, so we're just going to head back along the path. Again, I'm going to... I'm going to kill the enemies here. Continue into the next room and you'll have the easiest enemies to crit in the game and the blue orb suckers from the first game. If you do not remember those guys, they're a pain in the butt. But the rolling lizards are one of the easiest enemies to crit, and the blue orb enemies can give you that orb XP bonus. Unfortunately, the camera is kind of crappy here. And yeah, that happened. So that was cool. That was weird. Why are their rolls are stopping for some reason? There we go. That room is kind of a pain if you're trying to kill everything because of how crappy the camera is. The blue orb suckers absorb all of the orbs that get released, and if you don't kill them fast enough, they start to spin and try to escape with all of your souls. So keep an eye on that. However, if you want to use that to your advantage, you can kill all of the enemies, let the orb suck them all in, then kill the orb to get all of the orbs at once and get a huge XP bonus. That's more of a complex strat. I don't recommend worrying about it unless you're very confident in your capabilities, like I was clearly, as you saw by that expert level of attack there. But that's a pretty good room to grind XP because of the rolling. That rolling attack is very easy to crit. Now, this room does not make it easy because of the perspective, but generally speaking, the rolling lizard's rolling attack is the easiest attack to crit in the game. We're going to move through this doorway here. Kotaro is in here, but you don't need to talk to him. He has nothing important to say. Work your way past him if you want to use the magic mirror to enhance. I'm going to be able to get my armor up to level 2. And then I'm going to put the rest into the Hyujin Yari. In the next room, you're going to be attacked by a bunch of enemies here. Don't go near that hand. It's on the other side of the room. Just sit here with Magoichi and kind of let him take over everything. Because he can fire from a distance. Let him take care of the Axe Demon. If it gets close, feel free to use the Burrito combo. Although, do watch out for the rolling lizards, because they're jerks. Let Magoichi shoot at this guy if you really want to. You can switch to your bow. And it wants to fire at him. I don't know what Magoichi's doing.
Ready? Now. Give me your hand. Thank you. Ready?
Just shoot it until it dies. You saw that it can suck in your friend there. It can do that to you too, and it's not fun. So if you ever see those, make sure you're on the other side of the arena. Use whatever ranged weapons or attacks you have to kill them from afar. If you're in, they do show up in small rooms. If that does happen, just run in and try to wreck them as quickly as you can. Continue past the doorway he was blocking, though. Just like the first time in this room, we're going to run past the hatch, grab all the gold on the ground, into this back room. Walk forward here. And right about halfway there, you're going to find Niter. I missed the second one, didn't I? Yes, I did. It was right before that boss room. Well, we'll go back and get it. We'll grab all of the gold here. You can ignore the chest on the right here. It has an item in it that we aren't going to use, but interact with the puzzle box. We're going to use the right arrow on the bottom, the upper arrow on the right, the left arrow on the bottom, and the bottom arrow on the right. That's going to give you the Hyujin Yari secret combo. We are going to backtrack 3 screens, sorry, because I forgot to point out the Niter to you in the magic mirror screen. So we're going to run all the way back to the magic mirror. If you want to attack these enemies, you probably shouldn't be back here, but Um, as you can see, very easy way to grind XP. So here is where the niter is. This pole here to the left of the magic mirror. That is my fault for not pointing that out to you. Gonna go ahead and level my spear up. And since I'm here, I'm gonna grind out some of the enemies. Once you're ready, go ahead, go up to this ring on the ground, press pause next to it, go into your inventory, and you're gonna use the red ring. This is gonna pop your 11th achievement, blowing the lid off. Excuse me, you get that once you go inside the portal here. Press A in the portal and press yes. And there's the achievement for blowing the lid off. Walk forward and you're going to get the log demons. I don't recommend critting them. I recommend blocking them and trying the Burrito's secret technique. But they can block it, so just an FYI. Enemies in here aren't going to be dropping gold for the next foreseeable future until we get back to Onimusha town. So go through the door here. There are chests down at the bottom, but nothing in them are important for this walkthrough or this playthrough. So just work your way up the little path here. There's going to be an orb swordsman at the top. Block his attacks, then use the secret combo on him, or knock him over and stab him. Kill him however you want. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought a full combo could kill the orb swordsman, but I don't think it would have killed that one either. Regardless, go up the stairs. I apologize for that. You're going to get a scene out here and a familiar sight if you played the first game. Go up the path here. You'll get another scene once you get to the doors. Enter the door here. There's going to be 2 chests to grab. There's an archer up top, so I don't recommend fighting everything. So grab the 2 chests and then head into the door to the left. You're going to get the Gifu Castle Keep Tower map, which is map number 4 of 10, and Incense. This is a magic well, so if you do want to try to grind out some of the purple orbs to get your Onimusha form available for the next boss, I highly recommend you just use this well, go out to the main room, use the Burrito's magic combo, pressing Y, come back, fill up your magic, repeat until you have their purple orbs. We do have a boss coming up, but we're actually not going to be using Oni form for it, so you don't really have to grind it out now. We have a little bit before the next boss that requires the Ona form. Go over to this thing here. We have to do some math. Who doesn't love doing that? We're just going to place these tiles in the correct spot. So 8 goes into the upper right. 2 goes into the bottom right. Or, excuse me, 4 goes in the bottom right. That is my bad. It won't let me replace that. Interesting. 8 goes in the upper right, 4 goes in the bottom right, 2 goes in the bottom left, and 6 goes in the upper left. That will give you the bronze mask right. We're going to exit this room and enter the double doors at the back, and you're going to be in a fight with another hand. I recommend just running into the hand and using its your magic attack. You can come back and refill the magic if you need to. We will be coming back this way also, so... That wasn't very nice. These things are a pain in the butt if you don't have a long-range combat option. And apparently, it doesn't like to be hit by the magic either, so that was very mean. I'm gonna be honest. Open the chest once everything is dead, you can get an herb. In these spots, you can actually gift people items. We're not going to be doing that, but if you're playing on your own and you want to, just have some fun with Ekei here, give him something. If you're following my walkthrough, don't do that. We have to stick to the strict gift schedule, but they do allow you to gift your companion items as you go through the game in these rooms when they do jump in to help you and stay. Enter the red door. There's going to be a puzzle box to the left. You now have arrows on all sides, so we need the bottom arrow on the right arrow on the top, and the top arrow on the left, and you're going to get your first power jewel. Again, go into your inventory and use it immediately. Continue into the next room. You're going to have some enemies to kill. If you want to do it, I have found this room to be really hard to fight in. So, don't, feel like you have to. Go ahead and enhance whatever you want. I can't quite get my huge Inyari up, but we're going to be coming back. Enter the door at the end of the hall here. Continue forward. If you want to, you can grab the chest here. You're probably going to grab it inadvertently anyways. We don't use the item, but every time I've tried to go into that door, I wind up picking up the chest. So grab the history book volume 1 and then go through the door to the left and walk forward for a scene. This is the only scene in the game that you need to advance the dialogue with the A button. So just spam A, and then go behind the well here and grab the Demon's History book, which is document number 5 of 19 from the bookshelf, and exit back through the door. Go to the right, and there's going to be some stairs over here to climb up, and you're going to have a fight scene in here.
Are you okay?
Where Ekei will help. More ninjas, I don't recommend going for crits. Just start hitting things wildly. Once everything is dead, you'll have another scene. Walk forward after the scene and open the left door. The right one is busted. And you're going to have an archer in here. Go ahead and kill him and go through the door behind him. You can grab an herb from the chest, and there's a sparkling purify charm to the right. An enemy does drop down. If you want to take care of him, remember the seal for later, as we'll be back, but you can just go to the left, and we're actually going to retrace the entire path. I recommend killing the 3 archers up here and then just holding B. Magoichi is fighting enemies down below, so every enemy he kills will give you soul and contribute to an XP bonus. Again, it's not a lot, and it's going to take a little bit. Once you hear that the action has stopped, feel free to let it go. You saw I got an extra 450 XP by doing that. There are enemies in this room. If you want to fight them, feel free. Oh, a fire arrow. So that is something that is rather common, but we need it for an achievement. It is the first time we've had an item drop because I guess we've been rather unlucky. But there is an achievement for getting every long-range weapon. I'm going to go down the stairs here and into the door under the stairs so I can explain. So there are guns and bows and arrow, but there's also a bow and fire arrow combo. And if you see, if I go into my equipment now, I have a bow and bow and fire arrow. The only way you can get a fire arrow is through an enemy drop. Now, there are plenty of ways to try to grind this out later on, plenty of enemies that you can kill to try to get it. You're likely going to get it as you go through the game, but anytime you see an item drop, that little pinkish bag that falls on the ground, go and grab it. There's probably like 4 or 5 different things it can be, and one of them is a fire arrow. Now, they're not particularly rare, but with RNG, there is a chance you could go through the entire game and never get one. And if that happens, you're going to be replaying the Phantom Realm at the very end of the game until you can get one of the items to drop a fire arrow. That's how you're going to have to handle it. Um, there's not a whole lot to say because it isn't that rare of a drop rate. We just haven't. We're getting into the meat of the game here, so we're finally starting to get to a point where enemy drops are going to be a little more constant. So just keep that in mind. All the rest of them are going to come through natural progression during our story. I'm going to get you everything else, but you can't get the bow and fire arrow unless a fire arrow drops on the ground. Now, back in the room under the stairs, walk up to the body here, pause your game, go into your inventory and items, and use the Purify Charm. He's going to leave an item on the floor to his right, or his left there, our right. The Ghost of the Well. Go ahead and grab it. That's the other half of the bronze mask. Exit, and then go straight down and through the door here. I recommend saving here. And you can enhance anything you can as you... I think we're going to get our Huge and Yari up to level 2. Yes, we are. And then we'll start working on our Greaves next. I will go ahead and save. We'll put it into a new. Turn around and kind of knock this guy over if you can. And then aim at this door to the right. We need to put both of the bronze masks in there. And then we're going to go through the door immediately when we regain control. You're going to get a cutscene here, and then you're going to have, I believe, 2 orb swordsmen. So get ready to use the Burrito combo. Once they are done, run towards the screen and turn to the right. There's a medicine in a chest back here. Now head back the way you came. If you want to go save again, you can. The double doors lead you back out to where that magic mirror was, but you shouldn't need it unless you had a rough fight there. Return to where you fought the guys, go down the stairs, and go through. We're going to have a boss fight with an unbeatable enemy here. What I recommend doing is one of 2 things. There is an achievement for crossing swords. This happens when whoever you're fighting attacks at the same time you do. And what you'll see is sparks start flying. You want to spam your ABXY buttons or the D-pad as much as you can. I found the D-pad to be the easiest way to do it. So if you find yourself crossing swords during this fight, and you can keep reloading your save and coming in here to reattempt this if you want to. But there are other places we can get it as we go through the game. Spam the D-pad directions as quickly as you can. Just roll your left thumb around them. If you ever see yourself getting into a crossed swords duel, this is another achievement that is kind of RNG. There's nowhere to force this. This just has to happen. This is another thing that you can grind out with the Phantom Realm at the end of the game, as there are like 3 or 4 levels early on in the Phantom Realm that have the Orb Swordsmen, which tend to be one of the easier enemies to cross swords with as well. So don't worry about it too much. You don't have to get it right here, but it is something that can pop in. This boss, this point in our playthrough, is invincible. We can't damage him. All we can do is try to survive. So what I plan or think we should do is we're actually going to swap to the Hyujin Yari, and we're going to spam his secret combo, or the secret combo attack. I do recommend holding right bumper to lock onto him and then just start spamming the Hyujin Yari combo. If you do have to heal, heal. I'd rather you didn't. This is an unwinnable fight. Just walk in and spam the combo over and over again. And unfortunately, I survived long enough that I failed when we crossed swords. Eventually, Oyu will come to save you. As you saw there, you pop the achievement, now is not the time, getting you to 180 G out of 1,000 total. You're going to run towards the screen once you regain control. Climb up the ladder there. You're going to run forward and interact with the ball here. You can skip the scene. You'll get the Faith Orb and then interact with the ball again, and you're going to press A on yes to confirm, and then you can skip the next 2 scenes. Run forward, you're going to trigger a scene with Kotaro.
Hmm? Kotaro?
And once you have that scene, we're going to head all the way back to the shop. The shop has restocked. You're not going to have enough gold to buy everything at this point. But we're going to run in first and talk to the guy that we gave the cantaloupe. I think it's actually his father. Let's see, which one do we got to? The man in the green shirt. I think it's this guy. Talk to this guy. Yep, there it is. He's going to give us the orange necklace. At this point, it is worth putting it on. It makes little, like that statue at the very beginning of the game. It causes little orange XP spots, or red XP spots, to show up throughout the game, and you can just hold down your absorb button to get free XP from it. So at this point, make sure you have that equipped. Now go to the shopkeeper. We need to figure out how much gold we need. So we need to add up everything we have here. So 24, 25, 28, 35, 38, 39, 44, 54, 64, 74, 84, 89, 119, or 11.9, sorry, 12. So we need 12,000. Plus another 200. So we need 12,200 gold. We do need an extra 200 for something else that we have to buy. So that's 12,200, and that's all we need for the rest of the game. Okay, sorry about that. I had to cut out recording for a second there. So it's probably going to be a bit just disjointed. So we need 12,200 gold in order to buy everything remaining in the shop. And I'm not going to touch anything until we have enough to buy everything. We actually need 12,000 for everything in the shop and another 200 to buy something else afterward, a black beer. So we're going to get to 12,200 gold and we'll come back. And in order to do that, we're going to go up and do some runs through the mine. So run up the path, you're going to see, I guess they're purplish. I call them purple lizard swordsmen up here now. And they have the easiest attack to crit, as we've already covered. And they're the hardest version of the lizard swordsman. So I love fighting these enemies. These enemies, the rolling lizards, are the two easiest enemies to crit in my book. And when you get to the purple lizards, you get the most, orbs for critting them. So now, if you really want to, you don't have to grind through the mine for gold. You could just kill the purple lizards for XP and grind your gold that way. That would allow you to level up basically everything before we move on to the next area, if you would want to do that. You could super level everything, but we're not going to bother with that. There's plenty of areas to grind at the end of the game if we do need to. You can see your first purple spot over, XP spot over here, so run up and just hold B to absorb it all. It got us 200. And we're going to go into the mine. We're going to talk to the guy walking around here again a few times. He's going to give us loaded dice this time. Maybe. There we go. We're gonna. Oh, there's another XP spot. I didn't mark all the XP spots because they're kind of all over the place, and I just it's not that big of a deal. We're gonna check for some gold down here. I don't see any, so we're gonna go back up. Let's see if we can enhance anything here. Almost there. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get our greaves up and work on level 3 Burrito. Go ahead and talk to this guy 3 times. He's going to give you some medicine. And basically all we're doing now is going through all the rooms and getting whatever gold we can. So I actually don't recommend going to forward at the fork here. Because there's not really anything... or excuse me, I apologize. There is an axe demon over there if you want to go over there, but it's not really worth it unless you might run into some gold on the ground. The room at the very back after the boss room, those rooms have the most gold, so that's the path we're going to take. So we're going to go through this room. In the next room, we're going to have armored bug enemies, which I hate. But I noticed that they were dropping 500 gold apiece if they dropped gold when you killed them. So we're going to fight them in this room. So the easiest way to fight them is you can just swing at them until they die, or if you run up to them and hold forward, it'll pop them open, and then you can pop them to the ground. Or the secret combo can work. See, that one dropped 500 gold there. So these enemies are annoying. I'm not debating that at all, but they give you a ton of gold if they do drop gold, so it's worth fighting them. So you saw a couple of different ways to kind of fight them there. They show up in another room as well. I think that's going to be all of them here. So we're just going to run through. At the fork, we're going to go away from the screen. Unless we see some gold. And in this room, we have some more of the bugs. I feel like there's a log demon. Yeah, there is. That was a lucky crit there. Like, no doubt about it. So this is just the path we're going to take. We're going to go through here. We'll drop down here. In this room, ignore the robots. They do give a couple hundred gold, but they're a pain to kill at this point. Nothing we have staggers them. They can take a couple of the Burrito combos without dying. It's not worth trying to kill them. Just go all the way back to the back room here, grab all the gold. There's another orb or XP spot there. And now we're going to run all the way back to the screen right outside the cave. And we're just going to repeat this loop until we get the 1,300, or I mean 12,200 gold that we need. I really don't like fighting these things. You do get a weapon later on that makes it a lot easier, but until you get that weapon, they're just a pain. The kick stuns them, but they recover faster than you can follow up on it. It's just not a fun time. And that is absolute garbage. Like, I couldn't even see it. And that kind of stuff happens a lot, unfortunately. Fortunately, we're not getting very lucky with those bugs dropping any gold. which is kind of rude after I told you how great their gold drop was. I don't think we've gotten more than one. But all we have to do, and we're going to stop at the magic mirror here. And we're going to finish off our greaves. And then I'm going to start putting everything into the Burrito level 3, because we're going to want this for the part we have coming up, so... Exit out of the cave, and then pop back in. We do have a little bit before the next bosses, so you don't have to, like, stress about getting it to level 3 yet. But we do have, like, the purple lizard enemies outside are great for farming orbs, so, in XP. So, I mean, if you feel comfortable doing it there, by all means. There are spots later on with them as well that we can farm, though, so... Okay, if we don't get gold from the bugs in this room, I'm just gonna stop. Because they're not really worth killing for orbs. Okay. You know what? Screw it. We're just gonna run through and grab the gold. Just run forward in this room. Don't bother with grabbing gold if there is any. This room is a pain. Just try to run past the enemies. We'll get to this back room again, get the gold that we need to, and work our way back. Oh, crap. Missed you. The robots here will not bother you. On hard, they automatically attack you when you run through, so you have that to look forward to. But for now, we're safe on easy. If there was a way to just go down into that red ring portal and come back up and farm gold, that would be awesome, but unfortunately there isn't. How much more do we need? Probably 2 more runs. So... But I do mean it when I say that farming the lizard swordsman outside is not a bad way to get gold, because it will give you XP at the same time if you want to do that. In fact, I'm probably only going to do one more run through the cave, and I'll grind out whatever I need left with the lizard swordsman to get some XP. I think that's a good plan. Especially if you are still a little, you know, fuzzy on the critical timing and everything like that. You don't have to critical everything to get through easy. You can... Oh, I missed some gold there. Turn around, thank you. Worth it. You don't have to crit everything on easy, and I'm sure you can probably get through the game without critting everything on hard. It's just going to be a lot more difficult. need another 2,000, I think, right? What was I at? Yeah. I need 1,400. Since we're going back to the town, I went ahead and used my magic up, since there's a magic well in town. Look at that. Beautiful. 2 of them dropped gold this time. That's everything we need. So I'll probably just grind the lizard swordsman for 1 screen or so. Okay, back into town. We'll go to the shop. We're gonna buy everything we have left. And there we go. Now talk to him again, and he's going to give you the white necklace. This is very useful, actually, if you're new to the series and have extra time on your hands, because if you stand still, it starts to restore your health. So, If you are running out of health regularly and you run out of healing items, you can just put this necklace on, stand in place, and you'll be at full health relatively quickly. It's not a terrible, it's not like super fast, but it's not very slow either. So, I still recommend keeping the orange necklace on. That way you can absorb any of the XP pools that we run into, but if you do find yourself low on health and you're in a safe spot, just put on the white necklace and let your health come back. I'm not going to be doing that too much, I don't think, especially on our easy playthrough, but on hard, it is something that we will be doing. Let's exit through the door back into the inn or tavern. Talk to this guy right here and buy a black beer from him. Now go into the back room, suck up some magic, and we're going to enhance whatever we can enhance. And then go ahead and save. This is the other frustrating part of the game, where we have to give power jewels to everyone, or get power jewels from everyone. So, what we're going to do first, we need to go all the way back. We're going to get the regular gifting and stuff like that out of the way. So first, go outside and head back to the open market, and we're going to go all the way back to the stable. There's going to be a guy in green at the stable, and we're going to talk to him 3 times, because he really likes our horse. Of course, of course. And we'll get a glass. Now, return all the way back to the inn. Go up to Magoichi first. We're going to give him the Gorai Shinki and the Western Greaves. When you give him the Gorai Shinki, you're going to get a scene where he says, Jubei, I was wrong about you. You are a ladies' man, or something like that. Because there is a woman in the open market now that wants to talk to you. Don't do it yet. That will advance you to the next area, and you can never come back to Imasho Town. But just a warning now, this is kind of the end-all of this area. We don't come back after this, so don't go talk to that lady in the open market with the blue umbrella.
Waiting in the marketplace. Choose wisely. You don't have time for both.
Don't tell me what to do. I have time for both ladies. Once he's done talking to you, though, go in and gift him the Western Greaves.
Ooh, my feet, thank you.
You should get these tech books in response, but there is a small chance you'll get some other generic item. The tech books are related to charging your weapon, which is something we don't do, so it's not really that big of a deal. With that done, we're going to go back and make another save. And now we have to run all the way up to Oyu and try to give her an item to get a power jewel or a magic jewel. You're going to give her a specific item until you get one of those, then you'll save, and we'll do the same thing to get the magic or the other jewel. Each of your friends has a power jewel and a magic jewel to get. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to give her the hair ornament first until you get one of the jewels. You'll have to reload if you don't get it, like we were doing with the bones, and keep going until you get it. And then save, and we'll start giving her the glass until you get the other type of jewel. Then you'll save. We're going to do the same thing with Kotaro with items. Then we'll do the same thing with Ekei. And then we're going to give Magoichi his 2 items until he gives us the jewels. And then after that, it's actually pretty simple. You can give everything to Magoichi without having to worry about it, and we're going to move on to the rest of the game. So, Make sure you saved, go up to Oyu, give her a hair ornament. With a little luck, you'll have that autosave trigger again. Meaning you can reload the autosave and not have to run all the way up the steps, but if you don't, you'll have to run all the way up the steps. So again, I didn't get a jewel. We're going to have to quit the game and load, and I'm not going to make you watch all of this with me. I'm just going to come back once I get one of the jewels. Okay, so I got the magic jewel. I'm going to save and use all 4 of them at the same time. That way I know that I got all 4 of them from both people before I move on. So go back to the magic mirror once you get one of the jewels, whether a power or a magic one, and overwrite your save. And now we have to do the same thing and give her the glass. So we'll give her the glass. If she doesn't get it, I'm going to be angry. Just kidding. It only took 2 gifts for her to give me the magic jewel. I think the jewels are more likely than the bones, as an FYI, but it is also RNG, so it can still screw you. And she didn't give me that time, so I'll be right back. Okay, and there's the power jewel. That took me about 5 or 6 times to get that. We're going to go back down and save. And now we're going to go back upstairs and we're going to give Kotaro the pocket watch first. And then we'll give him the compass until you get the other one.
Wow. Is this what they call a pocket watch?
Oh, hey, look at that. Magic jewel. Okay, don't even have to cut that one. We're going to go back down and save. And we're gonna give him the compass then until we get the other jewel. Oh, I forgot it was all the way down at the bottom.
Wow. I finally get to see one of these.
You can enjoy the wonderful voice acting. Okay, no jewel that time. I will come back once I get it. Okay, there we go. There's Kotaro's other jewel. So we're going to run downstairs. The 2 longest runs are over. Now we just have to run down to Ekei and Magoichi in turn, which isn't quite as far. So we'll go back and save. We're going to give Ekei the loaded dice until we get a jewel, which is right at the top.
Ha! I'll be rich for sure!
And of course, there's no jewel there, so I'll be back. So there is the first jewel from Ekei. That only took me 2 reloads, so that was nice and appreciated. We're going to save, and then we're going to go back and give him the Tengu mask until we get the other one.
One day, I will enchant you with my famous dance.
Okay, and again, I will be back. Holy crap, that took like 40 tries. So, remember that nonsense I said earlier about how I thought the jewels were easier to get? Nonsense. Someone should punch past me in the face. But anyways, we got both jewels from Ekei. So, now we're gonna go back and save. And now we're going to do Magoichi, and this might be slightly different depending on if you already got one of his jewels when we gave him gifts earlier. We're going to be giving him, let's see, what were the two gifts for him? Black beer and conch shell. So if you already got one of the jewels, what you're going to do is make a save, run over and give both of them in turn, and try to get the jewel with either of them. If you don't get it with either item, load the save and give him both again. If you happen to get the jewel on the first item, give him the second gift anyways. We need to make sure he's given the black beer and the conch shell. So if you already got one of the jewels, just give him the black beer and conch shell back to back, hoping one of them gives you a jewel back. If you get the second jewel with the first item, give him both the black beer and the conch shell. Make sure that's, if that makes sense. To put it simply, make sure you get both jewels from him and make sure you have given him the black beer and the conch shell before you continue on. So what we're going to do, I saved, we're going to give him the black beer. Hopefully it doesn't take 30 tries for me to get his jewel, because that was frustrating. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. First try. It evens up. Okay. So we're going to run back and save. Now, if that was your last jewel, then make sure you give him the conch shell. It doesn't matter what you get, just make sure you give him the conch shell. But if you still have one more jewel, we're going to give him the conch shell to get the other one. Conch shell was down at the bottom. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And we'll... Can we do back-to-back first try?
This will be of great use to me.
Come on, dude. Hook me up. Oh, you're killing me. Okay. Well, it was too good to be true. We'll be right back. Oh my gosh, finally. Again, I'm pretty sure it was like 30 more tries to get the next jewel. But we did it. We finally did it. If we go into our inventory now, to our items, we have 4 power jewels and 4 magic jewels. Go ahead and use all of them. Run into the back room here. Go ahead and grab that. We're going to swap over to the white necklace real quick and let our health come back. So we just have a few more gifts to give. We're going to give Kotaro Kotaro his armor and weapon. We're going to give Oyu her armor and weapon, and we're not giving Ekei anything. Then we're going to go back to Magoichi. We're going to give him a few extra things that we have, and excuse me, we're not giving Ekei his weapons. We're going to give him a bunch of stuff that's going to make him hate us. There's a reason for that, and we'll get to it when it pops up. But after that, that's going to be our last thing. We don't have to save. We don't have to make sure we get anything specific. We just have to give gifts, and that's it. So we're going to go upstairs real quick. We're going to go to Oyu, and we're going to give her silver armor and phalange. You should get tech books, but again, there is a small chance that you'll just get like some random herb or medicine or some other gift. I'm not sure why it isn't a 100% chance, but it could just be that eventually you run out of books. There's the phalange.
This sword will do nicely.
Now we go to Kotaro and Kotaro. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do that forever because I taught myself Kotaro.
Can I test this on you? Just kidding.
So the Gabishi and the Keimyo Hachimaki. Again, apologies to anyone who speaks these languages. I'm probably butchering
This is
everything.
rare. My friends will be jealous.
So Dukotsui is the fourth weapon, and the Senpumaro is the third weapon. We'll be getting the Senpumaro pretty quick. Still have a little bit before we get the Dukotsui, though. Go downstairs. We're gonna go to Magoichi real quick. Give him the blue parrot. The reason we do this, it's not that important on this
I
run,
needed that.
but any extra items we give can give us healing items in return. Now I'll go in and give him all 3 niters that we found in the cave.
This is useful. Thank you. This is useful. Thank you. This is useful. Thank you.
Now we're going to give him the dice.
I'm feeling lucky.
And finally, give him the couples rings. Or I apologize. You can give him the couples rings. I think that maxes out his friendship.
Now we are
I meant
partners.
you should have given him the telescope first, but I don't think it really matters. Now we'll give him the telescope. Jumped ahead on my list there. I'm sorry. I'm reading a lot of text, and my eyes got ahead of me.
Interesting. I like this.
Okay, with that done, walk over to Ekei, and we're going to give him some things he's going to hate. I don't think he's going to take any of these, so he'll just give them back to you. That's fine. So give him the green parrot.
You're shiny.
Shiny, eh? I'll show you shiny.
Okay, he does take the green parrot. Give him the book of short stories.
Books are a waste of time.
The plant encyclopedia.
I don't need this.
It must be there must be a different playthrough where everything we give him, he doesn't take it. Because we do make him hate us again. But he gives us the encyclopedia back. Now we're going to give him the black pills. And again, he's not going to take this. I'm quite certain of it.
What is this? Goat droppings or something?
And then finally, give him History Book Volume 8.
I don't need this.
No, this is it. Go and make a save. Overwrite your last one if you want to. Do not overwrite this one, though. Just in case something got screwed up, you'll have this save to come back to before you reach the point of no return. You should have all your magic jewels. You should have your power jewels used. You should have 3 bones. Everything else is kind of hit or miss. It doesn't really matter. But those are the important things. You should have bought everything from the shop and have the white necklace, and that's basically the important thing. So when you're ready, head out. Make sure you have that save done. We're going to be moving on here. This is the point of no return, although we still have about half of the game left. So go ahead and walk over and talk to the lady in the blue umbrella. You're going to get some scenes, and you're going to be back in Yagyu Village. We're going to go and save here in a new slot. And this is where I'm going to stop this part. We're 2 hours and 17 minutes into the recording, so I think that's a pretty good spot to stop. Because at 2 hours and 17 minutes, the video is going to take like 18 hours to upload on my internet. So that's going to be the end of part 2. I'm going to be coming right back with part 3 in a second here, but I should probably cut it there, or else I'm going to have to leave my PC running for 2 days to upload. So if you have any questions or comments for me, as always, reach out to me. I'll do my best to answer them, but if not, I will see you guys in part 3.